and with us is David Rumbarger, Tupelo Development Foundation. David, good morning, sir. How are you? It's good to have you.
Good morning, Paul. It's good to be here.
Man, you've been staying busy. We're kind of getting the elite superstars on the air between Joe Max and Joey Denson and you now. So we've got a great team.
That's some
there.
Company. Oh, we do. We do. We've got probably more in Mississippi.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on that big announcement. For folks who haven't heard it, tell me a little bit about it and what we're talking about here.
Well, it's a Swiss company called Liebherr, and they're a Swiss company, but most of their manufacturing is in Germany. They're best known in the States for cranes and dump trucks and heavy machinery and equipment. They're the European Caterpillar, is what people say. They make a lot of heavy equipment, but they're really 13 operating divisions and over a $6 billion company, privately held Swiss company. And most of their production's in Germany, like I say. But here they're going to be able to produce in America. They're going to first warehouse for Canada, North America, Central America, and South America right out of Tupelo, Mississippi.
When you say warehouse, we're going to store it, or we're building it? Building it also?
Well, we'll eventually build it. They actually announced the 4-phase project. So the first phase is a 500,000 square feet warehouse operation for what they call the Americas, over 160,000 parts for the products they already have in the field here in the Americas. And then secondly, we'll be remanufacturing diesel engines. And then thirdly, we'll be putting together, assembling articulated dump trucks, which are the big dump trucks that are heavy equipment that used on mining and excavation sites.
When you say eventually, what are we talking about? A 5-year, 6-year plan, or how long is it?
It's a 3 to 5 year. They signed a 3 to 5 year commitment to do that. It's a $245 million commitment. So it's a huge project for Mississippi.
Yeah. What always amazes me, David, is how long people behind the scenes, all we hear on the outside is boom. It's almost like they just placed a call yesterday. How long some of these things take before they're, from the points of the phone call comes in, they're conceived to when they're actually born. And sometimes it's a lot longer than 9 months.
Right. Well, I've been in this business 30 plus years, and the timelines are getting more compacted. But we started this project by pitching in Atlanta back in November. They actually started their desktop reviews back in September, October. So almost a year it took to get to this point.
What was in our favor? Because I can't even imagine how many people were competing for this. What was in our favor? Was it geographic location, taxes, workforce? What do you point at as, okay, here's the reason that we ultimately won out?
Yeah. Well, Paul, this is it's almost a process of elimination, not selection, when you think about it, because what they do is they take a spreadsheet and they put all the dimensions they want on one side, and then they put all the cities and counties across America on the other side. And you begin to start checking boxes: workforce, location, proximity to Memphis with UPS and FedEx, proximity to major ports. I mean, it goes down the list, and then there's optimization. They look at what's most important to us, and in this case, workforce, diversity of workforce, and the strength of the local economy and the feel they got when they came to Tupelo has kind of been cited as some of the things that they looked at.
Are we talking about any spinoff or businesses that may go with this?
Well, this is Lee County is one of the most heavily manufactured counties in the state. So we have a lot of service industries already. So those existing service industries will get more work. But this company, because of the largesse of some of their products, they will actually have suppliers that will look at the location and then try to find something close.
When you say parts, are we talking, how big are some of these parts, though? Certainly when you start talking about cranes.
Yeah, we're talking car-sized parts. Really big parts, all the way down to screws and nuts and springs. So, it's it runs the gambit, and that's why the warehousing part of it is kind of critical. It's one of those warehouses that you read about that you could actually cut the lights off and the computers and the robots could run it. So it's a sophisticated parts picking and shipping and packaging operation. Many of these will have to be shipped in crates and other type of custom packaging. So, I mean, there's a lot of different types of skills that will be required inside the first phase, especially.
Well, and when you say that also, I can hear Brad White and the three commissioners talking about the importance of roads and bridges, too.
Absolutely. It's been critical. And this particular location is in our Hive Business Park on the west side of Tupelo. It's our newest business park. It'll be 118 acres, campus-like environment. They'll have 4 buildings eventually, the first being that 500,000 square foot warehouse distribution, and then, of course, the manufacturing. But they'll be our first business client in the Hive, and that's right on the way to Oxford. It's 40 minutes to Oxford, hour and 15 to Starkville. So that was another attractor for them, as they're right in proximity of 2 SEC schools, a lot of great football, baseball, and basketball, and academics, of course.
What are we starting off with as far as the number of people employed and hope to end up with?
Yeah, we're starting off, that first phase will start off with about 118, 140 employees, and then eventually over 350 employees in all 4 phases.
Wow. Now, this has got to come from ground up. There's no existing building, right?
That's correct. And a lot of the incentives that we offered are reimbursements for their site preparation and site development. So they'll put the money in the ground and then we'll be reimbursed based on their investment. So that's kind of a good deal for Mississippi and Mississippi communities.
Well, and by the way, let's not forget the construction through that whole process. How many jobs going to be caused because of just the construction process?
Absolutely, and as well as all the trades involved in that process, plumbers and pipe fitters and other types of things too. And the other thing I would say for this particular company, Liebherr is a worldwide brand. I mean, it is a notable brand like a Mercedes or others types of German companies. So it will attract other companies to Mississippi because Liebherr chose this site.
When was the first meeting? Did they come in to meet with you guys there in Tupelo? And when was that?
The first meeting was in November of 2023. We went to Atlanta to make a pitch with about 30 other communities, and the company told us what their plans were. We pitched our plans, and then they cut that down to 7 to 10 sites that they went and looked at physically. And so they made a couple of trips. We made a trip to Germany. Bill Cork with MDA was just in Germany this last week and met with the company. Yes. So we've had meetings back and forth between Germany and Tupelo for the last 6 months.
That's absolutely incredible. I know Bill's been busy, and hopefully there will be some other announcements coming up a little bit later on, always. But it is, what color are we talking about here? John Deere green, Caterpillar yellow. I know that's stupid, but as a homeboy, you can kind of identify this. What color
Absolutely.
do they have?
They are yellow. So they're a little paler yellow. A little paler yellow than the Caterpillar, but yellow and black. Yeah, and I think that's pretty standard for construction equipment.
That's not the only thing going on, though. The recent announcement about these people, then we had the expansion of Delta Blue Jeans. That was a big deal. Man, what a success story on this company.
I tell you what, Josh and Nick have done a phenomenal job. They took an idea back in 2012, and they've built it into an enterprise and business. 55 people. Yeah. They were expanding into new 25,000 square foot. It's their corporate headquarters space. It's their production space. And they've got those 55 people. When you go to those plants, I mean, they really care about what they do.
I would love to sit and talk to them, and maybe we could line up an interview. But how many people told them that this wouldn't work and they couldn't do it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there were plenty.
Any news at the Toyota plant with everything going on? I mean, there's all of this uncertainty as far as EVs are concerned. Anything new out of the Toyota plant?
Toyota's strategy has always been hybrid, not just electric vehicles alone. And matter of fact, I've owned a couple of Toyota hybrids, and they're phenomenal cars. Get 30 plus miles to a gallon in a SUV.
Let me ask you,
they're also,
we got a break.
Sure.
I want to hear this on the other side of the break. As a matter of fact, how did you charge that Prius?
You charge it through basically an electric car charger. So they're all over the community at this point.
No, I'm talking about the old ones. Just you didn't have a charge in the hybrids, did you?
No, those hybrids are self-charging. You drive and it charges.
I never understood why that wasn't the next step toward fully EV, but it just didn't make sense. We'll talk about it when we come back. Just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Return, David Rumbarger, President, CEO, Community Development Foundation. In Tupelo, 75 years you guys have been there, consistently recognized as one of the top 10 economic development organizations in the United States of America by Site Selection Magazine. We win the, golden or silver shovel awards over and over and over again. And one of the highlights that I think a lot of people just don't realize how far we've come in the last few years. You've been there, 24, 25 years now?
Yes, sir. 24 years this month.
And David, when you start taking
and in Hattiesburg before that,
and how things have changed so much over the years, has this new process of having companies like these companies go to the website and actually just look and see what the scale is going to be on incentives, has that helped? Because my understanding is we've got quite a few people doing that.
We do, Paul, and MFLEX, which was passed 3 years ago by the legislature.
I can never remember.
MFLEX it's been a tremendous benefit. What it's done is it's helped most Mississippi communities level the playing field, because it's really an earned incentive by the company. So the companies can go in any place in Mississippi and receive MFLEX benefits if it's approved by MDA. So it's a formula, and one of the problems with the formula is your competition can read the formula, so you have to be kind of creative locally on how you approach projects. So you've got to be prepared, and those that you talked about earlier, you've got to make sure you've got industrial property. There's an old saying, no dirt, no project. So you've got to make sure you've got a site, and it's not just Farmer Green's bean field. It's got to be something that has value to it.
I don't want you to spill any beans, David, but how many are you working on now, just at one time?
Well, annually, can I say that? Annually, we work about 60 projects. And of those 60 projects, a lot of things happen. Some of them get shelved because the company wasn't ready. Sometimes it becomes too costly for the company to make the investment when they make the evaluation. Sometimes markets change during that process and it goes another direction. Sometimes they make the decision to expand already where they're at. And that's why it's so important to get a company like Liebherr, because once you get a beachhead with a company like that, then they continue to expand, and that'll be part of the process of competition for the next 40 years in Liebherr's history. So the new companies are great. Existing companies are phenomenal because they continue to expand. General Atomics here in Tupelo, it's expanded 14 times since 2003. So, it's a good balance between getting new and taking care of your old ones too.
That's what's worried me so much about the automobile industry under this administration, when we had people doing political things, making decisions that were bombastic decisions. Actually, they were industry-changing decisions where we're going to put this over here, and we're going to do this, we're going to retool, and everybody looking at it saying that's not going to work. The market's not there. And it worried us a little bit as far as Nissan's concerned. We understand long-term EVs are going to be out there, but they will capture a certain percentage. Whether that's 35% or 45% in the next 10 or 15 years, who knows? But the combustion engine is not going to go away. And you were talking about Toyota, and I'll let you expand on finish your conversation as far as what Toyota plans are.
Yeah, Toyota also is looking at its form of hybrids is hydrogen. the waste product of hydrogen is water. So, I mean, you got water coming out of the tailpipe, but hydrogen can be regenerated. It can be actually developed on site. It can be distributed. So they've been in hydrogen for a number of years. They actually have hydrogen race cars that they race, Toyota does. So I think you can't put your eggs all in one basket of electricity. And the other side of that electricity argument that you were making is that when Tennessee Valley electrified the valley up here in North Mississippi and all over the Tennessee Valley, they educated the consumers on how to use electricity. And so we've had little or no education on why electric vehicles are supposedly better than the other vehicles in our environment. So I think you've got to go to the consumer first and convince them that this is the right way. And so I think hybrids are going to end up being shaken out as the way to go, whether it's electric hybrids, whether it's hydrogen hybrids, or whether it's others, because there's just too many vehicles for a single source.
I don't know anything about the hydrogen other than that we got plenty of water. I understand that. We're not going to run out of the fuel source. But as far as minerals needed to complete it and to make it, will we still have that type of connectivity and dependency on minerals? Is the cost factor going to be cheaper? I have no idea about that one, but there are a lot of people in the industry saying that it's not that far in advance. It'll be here before you know it as far as some models on the road, so it's going to be interesting. Didn't even get a chance to ask you about the new $70 million investment, 400 jobs created by Ashley Furniture. Can you do that in 10 seconds?
I can. Ashley's a phenomenal company, Ron and Cod Warnick. Ashley's been around in Mississippi for a number of years. This is their focus factory for mattresses. So they're expanding that, buying new buildings, renovating. Ashley's a great corporate citizen of Mississippi.
Oh, man, these are VIP people. Look, got to have you back on. Thank you so very much. I look forward to talking to you again.
Good to talk to you, Paul.
You got it. David Rumbarger doing an incredible job in Tupelo in that area.